I have finally beat part 6 of the raid, guys, and today I am going to show you guys how to beat it as well. Now, part 7 is literally freaking impossible for like anyone to clear right now, unless you're the biggest of massive whales that ever existed in the world, because yeah, it's actually, they just one-shot you. It's insane. Even the defender one-shots your team, so it's absolutely crazy. As far as part 6 goes, for free-to-play players, this is going to be very, very difficult unless you got insanely lucky on your pulls and have the characters needed. And pay-to-play players can definitely do this if you've just done a couple of pulls enough to at least get the characters. You don't need like max dupe characters or anything like that, but you would have had to probably spend some money to get all the characters needed for this. So with that said, phase 1 is a blue type defender, phase 2 is a red type attacker, and for phase 1 our goal is to nuke the defender before they get the extra defense at 50% health, and for phase 2 our goal is to survive the attacker's first attack. And they both have 2 different attack patterns, so a lot of times this is kind of RNG and it takes some resets to get the right attack pattern, especially on phase 2, so your team doesn't die. So keep that in mind when I'm showing you this. We might die because we don't get the right attack pattern. But yeah, so right here we are going to use Sally and we are going to use Finral to buff Raya. And as Raya is buffed, he gets more damage on his special skill, and I'll show you guys that when we take a look at their gear and stuff like that. And then we're using Nebra as our debuffer for her incapacitate and defense down. Another good option in place of Nebra would be Charlotte. Charlotte does pretty much the same thing as Nebra. I think Nebra just does it a little bit better, and she's a free-to-play option, so we're using 2 free-to-play characters here, and you'll notice Finral is only level 80. So this team right here is very obtainable for most people. You could actually switch out Sally too, just for any other character that gives buffs. It doesn't have to be Sally. But the main character that you absolutely need is going to be Raya. He is our damage dealer, and you'll see when we get into this run why you need him, because he will literally just kill the enemy in one shot. It's insane how good Raya is. And then for phase 2 here, we have Lotus as our debuffer. He has incapacitate. It's going to increase the damage the enemy takes by 50%. We have Asta for a big damage boost. So on his ultimate, if he does his ultimate before Yami, which he usually does because my Asta is faster, then he will get the additional attack because the enemy is above 80% health. And then when he gets that additional attack, it's just really good damage. Now, Asta can honestly be the difference between me clearing this run and not clearing this run, because if he hits a crit, it makes a big difference. Same thing for Yami. If Yami hits a crit, it makes a big difference. Now, here's the thing about Lotus, though. He can make it with his extended debuff skill, his second skill, so that all attacks act as crits, which is really nice when you're running Lotus with these 2 guys, so it can help you get the damage you need quickly. And the main reason Mars is here is for those attack patterns I was talking about before. If we get the right attack pattern, this enemy will do a single target attack on his second attack instead of 2 attack alls back to back, and that single target attack will target Mars because he has the highest defense, and Mars will survive it. So that's the goal with these 2 teams. So basically burst him down with these 2 and have Mars tank, and then burst this guy down with Raya and have these 2 buff and this one debuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at their gears and, you know, everything going on with them. Honestly, my gears for team 1 are not great. So if we go into the gear for Sally, a bunch of SRs and SSRs. Gear doesn't really matter all that much. Skill cards don't really matter all that much, especially like on this character. She's literally just here to give buffs to Raya, so Raya can do extra damage, okay? So I wouldn't worry too much about Sally and giving her good gear or skill cards. Nebra, same thing. Gear and skill cards don't really matter all that much. This is the gear I have on Nebra. It's not great, it's not terrible. We have some URs there, but no LRs or anything like that. And Nebra just here to debuff the enemy mainly, and that's all she's here for. Raya, if we go to his gear, even though he's my main attacker, I don't even have a single LR piece of gear on him. It is not necessary because you are literally relying on his special skill right here. Attacks after granting a 15% increased damage dealt buff for each active buff present. And you're getting tons of buffs from Finral and Sally. And then now Finral, what does he do? Well, he gives all these buffs right here. Increased crit rate, increased speed. And then over here, he can give increased damage dealt, he can give increased attack, and he can also increase mobility. So Finral just can give a ton of buffs, and all those buffs can be really, really useful. His first skill we won't really use, but it also gives increased speed buffs. If we go to Finral's gear, Finral's gear is also not fantastic, right? So none of their gears are fantastic. As for my team 2, we are using Mars. Mars actually has a little bit better gear on him. I have +8, +5, +8 on that LR. A couple of these are +8, not all of them, because it takes a while to get the resources. But these are the arena set gear, the lifesteal gear. So that can be a little bit helpful for keeping Mars alive longer. And that's really all there is to it. He's got some of these on him as well. I think I got the accessories from crafting them. At least 1 or 2 of them I got for crafting them. I think I got 1 for free from purchasing, so that's the pay to play coming in. But you can craft accessories as well. And then for Asta, Asta's gear is actually really decent. It's got LR, 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 UR, so like all very attack oriented gear, so he can do extra damage. So that would be one. This is one character you are going to want like attack oriented gear. I just have Asta skill card on him, and so also my Asta honestly is pretty enhanced. He doesn't have the final enhancement, but because he is enhanced, he grants 12% increased attack for 2 turns at the start of a wave. So that's going to help him do extra damage. So if you don't have yours enhanced, he might not do quite as much damage as you see mine do. But if you have Yami on the other hand enhanced or something like that, Yami can actually hit harder than Asta if you have investment in him. But my Yami, I do not have as invested as Asta. I have 2 LRs on him, but I also have some SRs in terms of gear. So, and I also have Asta's talent tree partially done. I don't have any of Yami's talent tree done. It's completely empty, so I haven't done any of that either. So, yeah, if you invest in Yami, he can technically do more damage than Asta, but Asta's additional attacks, I really have enjoyed using those, and those have helped immensely. And then last but not least, we have Lotus. And so for Lotus's gear, this is what he's got. He's got 2 URs, a bunch of SSRs. There's nothing really that insanely great about his gear either. He's just there for the debuffs and stuff like that. So the only characters you really need to worry about having gear on, I would say, are Yami and Asta. That way they have better attack. That way you can hopefully get through this last phase a little bit easier. I struggle with this last phase because I actually struggled to get enough damage done quickly enough. Now with all that said, that was a lot of talking and explaining, but hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It'll make more sense as we get into this. Let's take on part 6. Alright, as we get into this here, we are going to use Finral's ultimate first, and it grants all allies speed, 60% chance to remove debuffs, and then 50% chance to grant an ally increased crit rate. We're going to try to use that on Raya here. We did get the increased crit rate on him. That means we get an additional buff next turn that we use Finral. We got the laser hitting us the first turn. Honestly, for this phase, it doesn't really matter too much to me if the laser hits me or if he does the other attack combination. Honestly, when the laser hits me, it seems like I usually get really close to killing him, but sometimes I don't. So, hard to say. Alright, increased all attack for everybody. Now we're going to do defense down, level 4, 70% defense down. This lasts for 2 turns. And now we're going to go ahead and just skill 2. 24,000 damage, pretty nice. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use this. It's going to grant all allies increased attack if designated allies buff with increased crit rate, which Raya is. Grants them a 10% increased damage dealt buff for 2 turns, 60% chance to grant an ally a 15% increased mobility buff. So let's go ahead and use this. Increased mobility, attack, damage, and HP recovery. A bunch of buffs on Raya, right? Making him strong. Then we also have Sally here, who's going to increase magic attack, increase crit rate, and extend buff duration. So there's all those on Raya. Now we're going to use the Incapacitate with Nebra, which is going to increase damage taken by 60%. 35,000 with Raya there. And now we can use his special skill. And so this skill right here, attacks after granting a 15% increased damage dealt buff for each active buff. Also, if 2 or more active buffs are present, performs an extra attack on enemy, dealing 70% of attack and magic attack as extra damage. And he does have 2 or more buffs present. He has 1, 2, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buffs active right now. And then if we look at the enemy also has Incapacitate and Reduce Defense, so we should do a good amount of damage right here. So let's see how much Raya can do.
This is going to be over quickly.
190 plus another 255. Like, yep, there we go. One shot by Raya. Insane, right? So that additional attack comes in clutch. Without the additional attack from the buffs, it would be hard to do. But really, really nice. So that is phase 1 clear. Now we get into phase 2. Oh, and he did the one attack combo you don't want. Oh, there you go. So I'll rerun this and try to get it to where my team doesn't freaking die. All right, here we go again with phase 2. Give us the right attack combination. Yes, that is actually the one we wanted. Perfect. And you went after Mars. Beautiful. That is exactly what we want. See, everyone is still alive as opposed to the last time. And now we're going to go ahead and use Incapacitate, which is going to increase the damage taken by 50%. And we're also going to reduce the speed. Reduce speed, Incapacitate. Beautiful. And now we're going to go ahead and use Asta's ultimate. Grants an extra turn whenever above 80%, which the boss is. 43,000 damage, which is not great. We're going to go ahead and use this first skill. We're saving the second skill for the defense down that Mars will give. 33,000. Okay, not terrible. We're going to save Yami's ultimate as well. 23,000. And now with Mars, this skill right here, it will do defense level 3 down or reduces defense by 60%. There we go. Now we'll do an extend debuff with Lotus. It's also going to inflict them with concentrated attack, which means our attacks hit like crits. And now we can do this with Asta, and he should hit pretty big damage. 122,000, big. Okay, now we can use Yami's ult. It should hit like a crit. 62,000, beautiful. We're gonna get hit. Well, I thought we were gonna get hit right there. We'll get hit next turn right after. Mars does his thing. Wow, words sometimes struggle. Let's see, which one do we want to use here? Right here, it doesn't really matter which one you use. I'm gonna go ahead and do this for the reduced speed. Or should we do the... we have a 25% chance to extend status element duration. What does he have on him? Is anything going to end? We could potentially extend concentrated attack. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to try to extend. We'll see if we get lucky. We did not. Alright, Asta's dead. We still have Yami for an attack, though. Hopefully Yami can get this done. Maybe not. Oh, it's going to be so close. It's going to be so close. Mars might be able to finish it. Yep. I think Mars survives this. Yeah, Mars survives, and then Mars finishes right here. Okay, so there you go. It wasn't the cleanest win, but that is definitely going to be a win for us right here on Phase 6. Boom. Beaten. And I will be honest, it takes sometimes it takes a few resets to get that attack pattern at the start of Phase 2. So keep that in mind. But if you have these characters, you can beat Phase 6. And then after you beat it once per day, of course, then you can just go in and you can use the quick battle. And that just makes life easy. So really, you only have to beat Part 6 once a day, which isn't too bad. And honestly, like, this team gets it done at least, so I will take it. Anyways, guys, that is it for the video. Hopefully it helped you out. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button for more Black Clover content. And if you guys would like a place to meet and talk about Black Clover with other people, check out the description below and join my Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.